Originating from the world-renowned Portnoy Gallery in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada, you are tuned into Twin Brothers from Different Mothers, recently renamed as two guys who make people laugh, right?
You just made that up.
I did, because I was trying to remember what Mark said, and I couldn't at the last second. I froze. I had radio freeze. I am Aaron Phillips. That is Neil Portnoy, completely opposite of the banner you see behind us, because we just want to screw with your minds. Thank you for tuning into the latest edition. Mr. Neil, what's going on in your world?
Baseball time, baby.
Yes.
You know, it's the playoffs. Every pitch, every inning, every situation
is under a microscope.
And, you know, I know you're a big Yankee fan. And somebody
I've won nothing
already. See what I mean? And people, you know, I'm a Red Sox fan. And people say, well, your favorite team is the Red Sox. Do you have another favorite team? I said, yeah, anybody playing the Yankees.
Ah, yes. Jealousy gets you nowhere around here, my friend. We are who we are, going for number 28. But Minnesota's tough.
1991 was the last World Championship, wasn't it?
2009. 10 years.
Oh, I had. But
thanks for trying.
Years. I tried.
Thanks for playing.
I tried.
Yeah, so it is a great time because now college football is halfway through. We got professional baseball still happening. Hockey just started. Basketball is going to be starting in a couple of weeks. And on top of all of that, the great city of Las Vegas still continues to provide the best entertainment in the world.
85 degrees
yes.
in October in Las Vegas. The best, in my opinion, month to be in Las Vegas is October.
Believe it or not, those who know me, I hate being hot or warm in my house, but believe it or not, the last 4 days I've actually turned my air conditioner off. System is off.
Really?
Yes.
Ours still kicks on, and Dorothy cranks it back up to 74, 75.
Well, I would have that tug of war too, but fortunately for me, my wife can't reach the thermostat.
I'm not going there, because every time I do a short joke on Eileen, I hear about it for a week.
I know. So that's the ammo that I have. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please remember, if you are tuned in, which it looks like many of you are, we thank you. Please make sure you reshare this direct to your wall, because the tag only gets it to your newsfeed, and others will not be able to enjoy the show unless you reshare it. All right, a couple of things to go over. And then I know with bated breath, we'll bring up our guest who is just dying to get on here with two funny bastards, as he called us. That was really the title that I was thinking of. All right. Hey, big announcement. If you didn't see it on Facebook, we're now on another audio podcast site, Spotify.
Excellent.
So you can now join us. You can find us under Twin Brothers from Different Mothers. All of our shows are uploaded now on Spotify. So we have to get our friends next door to update. I feel like a weatherman in front of a green screen right now. We have to update this list right here. We'll add Spotify to it.
Tonight's forecast, dark.
Dark. Continue dark until mostly light.
Well, that was an old George Carlin. He used to go, tonight's forecast, dark.
Yes.
Turning light toward morning. Brought to you by Parsons Pest Control. We help you get rid of the ants and the roaches, and we'll help you smoke those roaches.
There you go.
That was a great Carlin.
I was. George Carlin was great.
I love Carlin.
How long? He's been gone now a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, but Dennis Blair has taken over and become, in my opinion, the new George Carlin. I love Dennis Blair.
Oh, okay.
He opened for Carlin for a number of years.
Oh, did he? That's right. That's
Carlin
right.
and Dangerfield and all that good stuff.
Right on. And we had Dennis on a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It was a great show.
I see. And then, why don't we talk about why we need returning guests to come back? You want to talk about that real quickly?
Yeah, we've got a 1-year anniversary coming up this November. We'll be on the air podcast, Twin Brothers, Different Mothers from Different Mothers for 1 year. We're going to have a large anniversary show, cake and everything, stuff I can't eat, but cake and everything.
Yeah, how are we bringing in food that you and Dorothy can't eat?
It's for viewing purposes only in my realm.
For viewing pleasure. Gotcha.
But we're going to reach out to all the people that have been on the show in the past, all the people that have advertised in the show in the past, and offer special packages to sponsor, to advertise, to get your brand out there in a format that has worked for the 1 year for many of our advertisers and guests.
Absolutely. So that's cool. So mark your calendar for Saturday, November 2nd. That is the 1 year that we are celebrating. We will go on the air normally at 12 o'clock.
We both had a full head of hair when we started.
I think so, or at least a couple of hairs anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm looking at us, and
this was black.
We had nothing.
This was black. It turned white.
You know when it was black? When your eyes are closed. That's never been black since I've seen you.
No, I'll show you pictures. I have pictures.
Well, I see one out there, but that was what, a couple of years ago with former governor back up against the wall over there.
Yeah. Well, I had a full beard.
I know. And I'm seeing it right where I'm sitting there, right next to the bar, ironically. You had black hair and a black beard.
Yeah, and hair.
That's what I said. Black hair and a black beard.
I'd like to break for commercial. We'll be back in 15.
Test. Is this thing working? Test.
It's working.
All right, a couple of things I want to throw out there before we bring our guest up. Yesterday was announced Rod Stewart is coming back to Vegas at Caesar's Palace. He signed on for 16 shows. They will be spread out next year through the month of March, September, and October. Prices will start at about $49 a ticket and up. Tickets go on sale October 11th.
Maybe he'll buy the new illustration I did. Perfect timing on my part. Everything's about timing.
There you go.
The new Rod Stewart illustration for viewing purposes on both Portnoy Gallery and my personal
Perfect.
website.
Absolutely. So there you go. So if you're a Rod Stewart fan, you can mark your calendars for October 11th. And like I said, they've got 16 shows planned at Caesars, and they are going to be spread out over a couple of months next year. Announced yesterday, we lost another entertainer, performer, Diane Carroll, yesterday passed away at the age of 84 from cancer. Many folks, she won a Tony Award for No Strings. She was Julia in the show. Academy Award nomination for Claudine, and of course on TV, she became part of that Dynasty cast. So thoughts and prayers go out to the Diane Carroll family from us.
And she broke a lot of barriers.
Yes,
being
she did.
The first at this and the first at that, and the entertainment world has again lost another giant.
This has been an interesting year, and to see when we get to the end of the year, the list of people that we have lost from the entertainment world, because there were some significant people thus far this year. Not that when we lose somebody important, it's not significant, but when you think about the realm of the time of entertainment that these individuals all made themselves, was a unique era, wasn't it?
It was a unique era. And, here in Vegas also, when you talk about anniversaries and what we've lost, let us not ever forget 1 October. There was an article in the Review Journal this morning that the Mandalay Bay is now getting back to the numbers they had prior to 1 October. And people are still voicing their displeasure that certain measures of security have not been put in place to prevent another tragedy.
Yeah, and it was announced also that MGM is now going to be donating close to $800 million to the Survivor Fund or Family Fund, whatever the call is, whatever it's called. So $800 million going into the pot for those affected. So yeah, 1 October, it's 2 years that event happened. Now they're still talking about the parking lot area where the event took place. They're going to be turning into a community center, things like that, supposedly. And then right not too far from there is where the Raiders purchased some big land.
Yeah, they purchased a number of acres. I predicted this was going to happen prior to what's already starting to happen. But, the experience in a football game, a professional and collegiate football game, is not so much the game, but the tailgating prior to.
Absolutely.
And, where do you do that where you can only put so many vehicles? There's no room to tailgate. They've now purchased a number of the industrial
27
buildings.
acres, wasn't it? Or something like that. Or $27 million for whatever acres they bought.
It really didn't give them a lot of parking spaces when you break it down. My opinion still is, I don't know whether it's going to happen, that they're going to build a bridge over, what is it, 15, I think, or 250? Over
It's 15.
Over 15, where you'll get the walking traffic coming from the strip to go over to the ballpark.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I think that's going to happen.
Makes sense.
But there'll be naming rights, of course. There'll be the so-and-so bridge sponsored by, and they'll make their money back that way.
Maybe it'll be the twin brothers from different mothers bridge.
I don't think we can afford it.
I got $1.50.
I get $2.
There you go.
Is that like $3 Charlie? Those wines they used to have.
Exactly. Hey, speaking of sports, our Vegas Knights, as I mentioned, kicked off this week. They are 2-0, and they got some retaliation against the San Jose Sharks. We remember what a tough series that was last year. They beat them.
One penalty changed the entire landscape.
4-1 and 5-1. So our Knights took it to San Jose early this week. So hockey season is well underway.
Very, Vegas has got 2.2 million people, something like that.
Just a few,
but it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Dorothy and I were down at Mandalay Bay seeing the wonderful Serena Henry and Matt Murphy and Johnny Jones in the lounge, and we're sitting there, and this couple sitting next to us. It was the mother of Cody. I don't know his last name. I'm not a hockey fanatic, but the rookie that the Golden Knights have. His mother is sitting right next to us.
Right on.
I mean, how does that happen?
Well, what did you try to ask her to get her son to come on our show?
I did actually, but I don't know.
Maybe we'll see him, because that sports store is still working on getting a night up there to
maybe
to do
Cody
something.
will come up.
Who knows? Yeah. That'll be pretty cool. All right, last thing I want to mention, and this is more just awareness. The foster care system in the state of Nevada is run through Child Protective Services, through the city, CPS, Safeness, and all that. Very sad story out of Georgia, and I want to share this more for awareness more than anything else. 3-year-old twin girls were in foster care. They died earlier this week in Georgia, Hinesville, Georgia, because their foster family kept the kids in the car. It was 95 degrees. So, folks, of anything, I mean, we have to raise awareness, and I don't know why we have to do so much to remind people to get your kids out of a car or your animal out of a car. But to have it happen in a foster care program by foster parents puts a black eye, I think, a little bit on the foster care program.
The system has been broken for years.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be corrected along with a lot of other, without getting political, because we don't do that here in Twin Brothers. But you know what? The system needs to be changed with bringing new voices, new people, new ideas, new concepts, new funding. There's got to be ways to make it work better than it's worked.
Well, I'm glad that's a great segue for me, because I'm going to go back to, and these are past guests we had here.
Sure.
David Tatlock, lead of Soul Juice Band, and Noel Casimiro from the Foodie Fest, Fuku Burger.
We connected the two of them.
And now, and my wife and I are part of the board of directors. We have all started a nonprofit called Kids Uplifting Kids, and those are Z's on the end, which was an organization formed by 4 young girls, age ranges from 10 to 15. And this is a program that's going to focus squarely on the foster children in town to help raise funds so that we can help the foster care system get their needs, but more importantly, take the kids out basically for like a day, give them some happiness and some joy, and do things to support them. And I'm going to plug it out there anyway, since we're talking about reasons to raise money. April 25th of 2020, and we want to thank the Las Vegas city government to allow this at the amphitheater down off of Grand Central Parkway over there by the government center.
Yep.
We're going to be holding a music fest.
Sweet.
Basically led by David and Noel and the board.
Are there going to be a number of bands there? Because our guest might have some kind of interest.
You know what? That's a good idea. I will
segue in.
Do you know David Tatlock? Okay. So I will remind him that he knows you, because we're just starting to talk about the type of music we'd like to have at the fest. So that's a great idea.
And to raise money, maybe even an illustrative piece that's reproduced on merchandise, and a portion of the proceeds would benefit that foundation.
You know, it's funny. There was a little birdie in the board meeting this past week, because somebody by the name of Phil Cohen mentioned that same thing at the meeting.
Him. He looks a lot like you.
Yeah, he mentioned the same thing. So we can definitely follow that up. But anyway, so
before, you know what?
Yes.
It's almost time to bring our guest.
Yes,
back.
it is.
We could rattle with this, but before we bring him on,
I have to get his long bio ready.
Yeah, get the bio ready. But before we even mention that, I want to just preface this whole conversation by saying, for the viewing audience, not so much the listening audience, Melvin Harvey got his haircut today. And for those of you who know Melvin Harvey, our guest, being so close to this Melvin Harvey, just wanted Melvin Harvey to feel better. So he fashioned his hairdo today after Melvin Harvey. And I'll leave it at that. I mean, I don't have to go any further. You'll get the idea when he comes in front of the camera.
Do I know Melvin?
That's his dog.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, okay. Right on. Want to thank everybody in the chat room as we get ready to bring up our guest. Everybody's out there. We appreciate it. Our guest today, Mr. Michael Shapiro, was born in San Jose, California, but was raised here in our fair city of Las Vegas after moving to a couple of different locations throughout the United States. He's come back as of April of 2015, and he's fronting for the band in the show called Reckless in Vegas. He's also been asked to join the cast of the world's greatest rock show, performing, not ironically, as Bruce Springsteen, because we'll hear about a story where he got an opportunity to meet Bruce many, many years ago. Since April of 2015, Reckless in Vegas has been performing in Las Vegas at several venues, including Caesars Palace, the Smith Center, Sunset Station Casino, Red Rock, Santa Fe, the Palms, South Point, the Venetian, and the Tropicana. Shapiro was also cast, as I mentioned, as Bruce Springsteen up at the Stratosphere for the world's greatest rock show. Michael has also toured all over the United States, United Kingdom, France, Italy, Portugal, and Spain. You can check him out on michaelshapiromusic.com. Please welcome to Twin Brothers, Mr. Michael Shapiro. Where's Waldo?
There you go. Harvey, yep.
There he is.
See the resemblance in the hairdo?
Oh, absolutely.
I wasn't too far off.
Yeah, no, it's great. No,
I was not too far off.
Although Michael's ears are a little shorter. I will give him that part. Welcome.
And I need to have you on the microphone too, right?
That's Come on in, join the crazy guys. What did
Crazy
you call
bastards.
us? Funny bastards. I like that as a tagline, actually. It's
Crazy
pretty good.
bastards.
Thank you for coming.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome. Thank you for making time. I mean, I know as an entertainer in this town to get up anytime before 3 p.m. It's usually difficult.
Isn't it? It's 7 a.m. right now. Right?
Somewhere it is. Yes.
Somewhere it is.
I think in Hawaii, maybe. We might still be there. You want to kick us off, Neil?
What would you like me to say? I mean, I got to meet Michael when Dorothy and I first moved to Vegas 3.5 years ago. We've become friends. We've become close. No, don't even do that. I'll go back to the Melvin Harvey hairdo thing. I'm sorry. We've been to each other's homes. I respect this guy for much more than the music, just because he's a great human being. Met the love of your life. It's made you even a better person. I'm getting chills even talking about this. I'm getting the goosies, as Jennifer
Because it's
would
freezing
say.
in here. You guys hang
not
My hands
cold.
are
this
cold.
joint.
My hands
It's
are
not
cold.
cold in here. See now,
All this hot air, though.
Dorothy's getting up, turning the air conditioning down. God.
At least she can reach her thermostat.
But I mean that from my heart. You two have been wonderful people for this community. We've gone to many of the Reckless in Vegas shows. We look forward to what that production has in the upcoming years. It's a show, for those who have not seen it, deserves to be on the Strip. I'm putting that out there for the tourist industry, because it's something that is new, fresh, extremely different, and led by an extremely talented guitarist, songwriter, singer. The list could go on. That's all I got right now.
Well, thank you for joining Twin Brothers today. It's
Can I
been a
hug
great
you?
show.
Can I hug you right now?
No,
Just let me give you a hug.
no, because I won't be able to run
Bring
for
it-
Congress
Bring it
or
on,
Senate
man.
or
Bring
something.
it on. Thank you.
If you
Neil.
put your
Thank
arms
you.
around me, you never know what happens.
All right, so I'll fire away the first logical question.
Uh-oh.
Age of 13, you picked up your first guitar. Why, according to your bio, right? Picked up first guitar at age 13, as well as other things. Why guitar? Why were you drawn to that instrument?
My father took me to see Santana in 1976. I was 6 years old,
Okay.
and I wanted to do that. I saw what Carlos did with that instrument, and I knew that day at 6. That's what I wanted.
Did you have an interest in music prior to seeing Santana?
Well, I mean, my dad always, he had a collection of 8-tracks and was always
Sure.
playing music around.
What the hell's an
house,
8-track?
Yeah.
That's really big tape cassettes.
Worst format ever. I mean, it
Right.
changed the track and track in the middle of the song.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but so that I was always interested. And of course, I mean, I love my dad, and I looked up to him, and so another way to kind of get in his good grace was to play music.
Is he a music buff besides having the collection? Did he play?
He is the most fantastic air guitarist you'll ever see and hear. Every
I
note.
hope he brought his instrument with him in case we ask him
Yeah.
to perform.
I
He
think
always
we-
has it with him.
We should do a playoff, because I'm pretty good at air guitar.
Oh, sounds like
Oh.
competition here.
Yeah.
Man, oh
All
man.
right.
Just he doesn't keep his in tune. That's the only problem.
I
No,
start,
his-
yeah, but the problem is, whenever I open my voice and start singing, I throw my air guitar off tune. I don't know if that's possible, but it does happen.
It is possible.
stick with drawing. You're better off.
All right, all right.
So you picked it up. Now it also says you got into piano, trumpet. You started singing. So at that point, what was it that said, you know what, I'm pretty good at this guitar thing. Let me see what else I can do. Is that how all that other started?
Well, I was a guitar player in my first band at 16, and the singer didn't show up one weekend
Oh boy.
for rehearsal. So
Okay.
the following weekend, he didn't show up. So I go, I'll do it. So I started singing, and the band the third weekend I said, I'm going to do this. And they said, well, if you're going to do that, then we quit. and they actually quit. The band ended there, but I continued to press on. And
And I bet they've not been happy with that decision ever since.
I don't know about that,
Now,
but
have there been voice lessons over the years? Because
Yeah.
you don't just learn, it's an ability. You're born with that ability. You learn the technique. Go into a little bit about, I mean, you sang, but you knew you needed lessons, improvement.
I kept losing my voice. Every
Really?
time we would do a show, I would lose my voice because I didn't know how to sing. And so I started to study with an opera teacher who helped me, with technique a little bit. Didn't per se give me a good voice, but it taught me how not to lose my voice.
Okay.
And then just, I think the sheer desire to want to do it for so many years, you tend to get okay at it, I still don't think I'm a great singer, but I can do it. And it's,
Yeah, but you stay in your, you know what, you don't go up here with the notes. That
You go where you can.
You go where
Right.
you can.
Exactly.
I do that in the shower at times. The dogs run, the chickens make noises in the backyard. I mean,
Chickens. Oh, in the backyard.
Yeah.
I was gonna say-
No, he has
I have
chickens.
chickens in my shower.
I was going to say, well,
They're
listen.
dirty birds, I'll tell you.
I got to tell you, not only does he and Jolie have chickens, they have real names.
Dude,
And it's hysterical when he posts, because he calls them over by name. And they're
They
like
come running.
dogs. They come running. It's hysterical.
Is one of them Leghorn? I just
No,
wanna-
we can go Leghorn.
You can go Leghorn.
What are the
Hey, boy, I said boy.
What are the names of the chickens?
We got Nugget, which is the littlest one.
I like that.
Tiny, and then we got Barbecue, and we got Big Bertha, and we got Big Mama, and then we got Bloody Mary. And Bloody Mary got her name because one day I went out there and she had blood all over.
Oh,
They got in
no.
a little fight, so Bloody Mary was born.
Now the dogs. You have 2 dogs.
2 dogs: Melvin Harvey Shapiro and
Right.
Shappy Shapiro.
Shappy. Let me tell you about Shappy, and then you can continue with that story. The first time I went to their house and I met Shappy, right? He hugged me. No, I'm serious.
Got up on his hind legs?
No,
or?
he gets up on his hind legs and he puts his arms around your neck. Won't kiss you. He'll put his mouth right up against. He will not lick you.
He's
He
not a
will not
licker.
kiss you.
Well, with anybody who does that, I don't blame the dog.
That's
but
what
I mean,
it is.
you know,
And
it's,
ever since-
it's the chew. That's
Ever
what,
since that, my wife does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Well, it worked for you, so she's
so what kind of?
following suit.
Obviously, it's a big dog.
He's a Labrador. He's
Oh,
a very small lab, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Oh wait, with the Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, so between all of them,
They
you're
don't
gonna-
go
you're
after
gonna-
the chickens. They don't.
No, well, that's good.
Ooh, I wouldn't say that.
Really? Do they really chase them?
Well, we don't let him out there to do it, but one
Not
day
purposely.
I was cleaning the water bowl and for the chickens, and Melvin was next to me, and now he's gone. I'm like, huh? And I go around, and he's in the coop with the chickens, sitting in the coop, not doing anything. And I'm pretty sure that he got pecked, and the chickens, let him know who the boss is.
That's
And
very funny.
Now, with all those people or beings in your house, you can have your own minion, can't you?
Minion?
You know what a minion is?
Oh, minion?
Minion.
You mean like the little?
No,
No,
the
not
10
that
wise,
minion.
The 10 wise Jewish people. You're like me by name only. I like
Wow. All right, I take that
Jew
question
of
back, Your Honor.
convenience?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Jew of convenience.
That's okay. I just
Yeah.
thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah. I did.
it. When you have 10 wise Jewish men. Like when I
Happy
got
New
brought.
Year.
Thank you. Same to you.
That's right.
What comes next?
Yom Kippur.
And what
Good Yontif.
Wow.
what is that? What is that Yom Kippur?
That is like the highest holiday in the year where we ask for forgiveness from God for all of our past sins. We ask that the slate be cleaned and we get another year.
Wonderful.
So it's the
does
big
it
one.
work?
I'm still here. It's got to be.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Let's get back
But
into
yes.
the music thing because I kind of went off kilter again.
Now you mentioned the band, and you started in the band, but at 16 you got probably quite the interesting opportunity with the Boss. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I wasn't a huge Bruce fan at the time. I was 15, 16 years old, and my mom's, follow this. This is complicated, you
Okay.
guys, and I know that.
All right.
Well,
You have a scorecard ready?
I do. I'm ready.
So my mother's husband, not my dad, right? Got
Okay.
that? Okay.
Don't confuse me.
My
I'm
stepdad.
still with you.
His sister is Julianne Phillips, and she married Bruce in 1985.
Gotcha.
I was living in Portland, going to
Okay.
school there that year because my real dad kicked me out. No, just kidding. But I was living there going to school, and Bruce came
Hit
over.
him when you throw stuff. I'm just, I'm over here.
Don't throw anything.
If you do, soft, please.
He loves it when I talk about that stuff. And he came to the house, and we watched the Blazers were in the championship that year, and we watched the game and had pizza, and then went down into my room and played guitar for with
With
an
Bruce.
hour and a half. Yeah, I got pictures of him playing my guitar, and
Sweet.
yeah, it was a moment. But like I said, I wasn't a huge fan, so I didn't really grasp
Grasp it.
what was
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, that makes
which
sense.
is probably better though, because I would have been a nervous wreck. Yeah.
It's just some guy in my room that I'm strumming with. It's only Bruce Springsteen, folks.
Right.
Jeez.
It was cool.
It's funny though. They just had a movie about this boy over in I think it was Pakistan. Pakistanians who moved to the UK. Did you know what movie I'm talking about?
I haven't seen it. Is it out?
It is out. My
Yesterday?
wife and I saw it. No, that's the one about the Beatles.
I didn't like that, but go ahead.
I'm trying to. I wish I could recall, but I'm sure somebody in the chat room is going to remind me. But it was about two Pakistani boys in UK, which they were trying to cross this lines of acceptance, and he was turned on. The main character was turned on to Bruce music by his friend in school, and his whole life was about Bruce Springsteen and listening to the lyrics and everything. But the story you just shared, I didn't see it depicted anywhere in the movie. I really didn't. So I'm a little disappointed now to find out he had a role with Bruce Springsteen. It's that moment was not in this movie, basically
Should've
around
been.
Bruce. That's what I'm saying.
Should have been.
I'm only here because Dorothy's here. Just
Oh.
want to say that. That's the only reason I'm here.
Do you
right
know
now.
how often I hear that?
Well, listen, it is what it is. All right, so you got the chance. Now, what happened after that? When did you realize who you were actually strumming with that day?
Well, I mean, anytime I told somebody who had come over, there was a reaction to that. But I really, honestly, did not become a true Bruce Springsteen fan until I did the World's Greatest Rock Show.
Okay.
because I had to learn the music.
Right.
And when you listen to Bruce music on the surface, there's some good songs in it, and it's good. But when you break it down and realize the writing craft, I mean, he is a brilliant lyricist,
Can I be
storyteller.
brutally honest with you? When Dorothy and I first moved, no, I'm gonna be. When Dorothy and I first moved here, she's shaking her head. Don't say it. We went and saw that show. And we said the show's great, but the Springsteen guy isn't very good.
Oh my goodness!
I know that was coming.
The truth. I'm telling the truth. Am I right? We did. We said no. He doesn't look enough like Bruce.
It was a really hard in the very beginning. I mean, I wasn't trying to impersonate Bruce, and I told the producers going in, I'm not an impersonator.
He had the bandana on and everything.
Well, he dressed. Yeah, they give you a costume, but like that's just not who I am.
But
so
now that I know you, you're so much better than that person you played.
Oh, now he knows you.
Yeah.
When he didn't know, you didn't care.
Well, listen, we're talking about history, past history, and how you get into it, how you met Bruce. You have a show here in Vegas called Reckless in Vegas. The title itself kind of makes you go, what the hell is that?
Is that good?
It's great. It's not good. It's great because you take the old Vegas history performers of Sinatra, Sammy, Dean, and others and rock it out.
Yeah.
But you start the songs like it's going to be that traditional
Typical classic.
A couple of them, yeah.
And then Jack kicks in, and that's you step it up like on steroids. Is that legal? Yeah. But you step it up on
We don't
steroids.
get tested.
And it's a great show. The video, the production, it's the type of show that here a lot of the locals will go to the same show. They'll go to the same. It doesn't matter going to see Reckless in Vegas because it's a great performance. It's different, and watching you as the front man is great. We love it. We love the show, and it's a show that should be on the Strip. Talk about how that happened. Talk about the story with Jack, how with the bicycles and that whole story.
We saved that for the show. Actually,
All right.
You have to come to the show to hear that story. But
Name of the movie is, by the way, Blinded by the Light.
oh right, so that's out.
Yes, it is
You
out.
saw it, okay.
So I also want to mention that you have a hello in there from Jenny Purdue. Katie Monroe is watching. Willie Triplett, a friend of mine, is watching. Mary Shade, Sarah Beck, Billy Fisher. We appreciate everybody in the chat room. Please reshare this feed direct to your wall so everybody else can join us. But I've also asked for questions, so if anybody comes up with a question, I'll let you know.
Ask Neil.
The questions?
Any question.
Okay. Yeah, questions for you.
I'll relay them to my left.
Yeah.
There you go. So who inspired you? Who was your biggest inspirations as you were starting to formulate your plan in music?
Well, I loved Hendrix. My dad introduced me to Hendrix early on, and of course Santana.
Okay.
Big Journey fan back in the day.
Oh yes.
Still, of course. But as I got older, I become, believe it or not, I'm a bit of a narcissist.
Huh.
So
Okay.
with that,
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
because I knew you wouldn't believe that.
I don't.
Knowing me. So because you wouldn't recognize it. Because
All right.
no, and I mean that per se. As soon as I learned how to play guitar and could be a little self-sufficient, I kind of stopped listening for many years, which is not a good thing to do. We must study other
Sure.
artists, right?
Sure.
But I really didn't get influenced by anything else other than what I had heard growing up.
Gotcha.
So later on, when we I had cover bands here in Las Vegas, we did a lot of cover songs. That's what we were, a cover band. Unbeknownst to me, those became influences for me. So every cover song that we did in our show became part of my style and
Gotcha.
my sound.
Gotcha.
So we, in the '90s, we were doing Pearl Jam and U2 and Stone Temple Pilots and that kind of stuff.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've taken a little bit of everybody that you've pretty much studied to rework your music with.
I
Right.
got to bring up, I took a friend of mine that I introduced you, Roger Scullion, who played with Clapton and George Harrison, old timer, a Brit.
Yep.
And the first time he had ever seen you, and he, we're sitting there and he taps you on the shoulder and goes, who the hell is this guy? He's brilliant.
Wow.
And I went,
great guitar player.
I'll introduce you to him. And I brought him up and we're fighting the crowd because all the women are around
Sure.
you. What a surprise. and we
I'll pay you later, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. We snuck him in to say hi, and he was overwhelmed to meet you. And here's a guy that played with, George Harrison and Clapton. And he just said to me, his style, he's smooth. I said, yeah, he's a brilliant
flattering.
guitarist.
Yeah.
So I had to bring that up. Roger Scullion, who just got back from Hawaii, was there at Joe Barry's wedding from the Bronx. So
Yeah.
they're back in town now.
Has
Yeah.
anybody ever told you have a likeness to Don Henley from the Eagles?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay. Well, because
I wish I
as I'm
sang
looking
like
at
him. and wrote like him.
Because as I look at your profile picture that's on your bio, you have a lot of Don Henley in there.
You mean this picture from 2006?
Well, hey, listen, whatever works.
It's your bar mitzvah picture. Who you
Yeah,
kidding?
I think that is from 2006.
Okay,
actually.
well, that's all. If that's
Where'd
what you
get
got, that's what was sent over.
Oh, okay. My
To,
publicist is
you're-
fired.
There you go.
I'm my publicist.
But I
by
still
the way.
think you look like a little bit of Don Henley.
Oh,
No?
wow.
I
Little
agree.
Eagles,
Big Eagles fan.
I agree.
I'm a
I
huge Eagles fan.
Absolutely
Yeah.
agree, especially
Yeah.
with the Melvin Harvey hairdo.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Whatever works. Whatever works.
Is this a Melvin Harvey hairdo, you guys?
You
Is
know,
it
it's-
really?
Did you put gel or anything in there? Or to
Well,
make it
so
stick up?
because I woke up and I didn't
Yeah.
really want to do anything, I just took a little bit of that waxy stuff and just sort of did
Yeah,
that.
I tried it. Had no effect.
Well, that's the thing about
That's the
you
gloss,
guys.
though. That's the gloss look.
It's
Oh.
nice, and you guys can wear headphones and not worry about messing up your
Not at
Melvin Harvey hairdos.
This is called wavy hairdo. It's waving bye-bye every day.
Yeah, one of those things.
But I want to talk a little bit more about Reckless. You know, it's great with the history
Mhm.
because we all have history, and a lot of people don't know it, but you share a lot of that in your show, which is great for the audience
Yeah.
that'll
Keep
watch
it
the show.
alive.
Talk about Reckless. How did Reckless start, and where do you see it going?
Well, so in 2007, I moved to the Bay Area,
Okay,
and I started Reckless in Vegas as a power trio. We did all original
in the Bay.
in the Bay.
Wow.
Yeah, and I used to be very reckless when I lived here, and so that's where the name Reckless in Vegas came from. And it actually came from a girlfriend who woke up and had a dream, and she said, "Last night I was in an all-girl band, and we were called Reckless in Vegas." And I went, "I like that. I'm going to
Yeah.
take that." So I took the name.
It's like
But-
Portnoy. Yeah, go ahead.
There you go. And so we started this trio. We went out. We put an EP out with Dan Shea, and we went and toured, and then came back, and put another EP out of all original music, and toured. And but on the first EP that we did, Dan Shea, our producer and my partner now, had the idea to take Neil Diamond's Solitary Man and do a kind of a modern rock version of it. And we put that as the 6th song on the EP. So fast forward to 2013, we had those 2 EPs out, and I, in a meditation, I had this vision to do old Vegas music. So I called Dan back. I said, "Dan, you know that thing you did with Solitary Man? What do you think about doing that with Vegas music?" So we spent a year. We put an album out, and it was such a hit in the Bay Area.
You write all your stuff. I mean, you compose this.
There's a couple of mashups where we've taken like Jimi Hendrix Manic Depression, and that's
Mhm.
under Mr. Bojangles, or Sinatra's A Very Good Year. We're using White Rabbit.
Right.
We do, like, we have Kelly, the song that Kelly does with us.
With
and-
Nancy Sinatra.
Right, which are
right.
made for walking. But those are the only 3 mashups. The rest of them are all original compositions.
But it's amazing. I know, Aaron, you've never seen the show.
Mhm.
Why?
To see, well, because I haven't
Fired.
taken them. I'll take them. But it's interesting to watch this song that you know,
Mhm.
and you know every word to,
Mhm.
and now it's very different, but it's good. It's and you know, kudos to Michael and the band
And Dan Shea.
and Dan Shea, right? That have put together the composition, lack of better terminology, that touches, you know, different genres. That's the key. That's why this show is so different. It's not a cover band.
Right.
It's not an original band, but it's an original band cover band. Put those together with what they do. It's brilliant. It's a
Yeah,
great show.
let me just do a quick reset for those just joining, because the chat room is blowing up, and that's what I'm monitoring here. You know,
I thought you were ignoring me.
No, I wasn't. I'm trying to monitor what all that activity is. You're listening to Twin Brothers from Different Mothers. I'm Aaron Phillips. That is Neil Portnoy. But more importantly, sitting between the two of us is the leader of Reckless in Vegas, a wonderful show here in Vegas, Mr. Michael Shapiro. And we're chatting with him today. And we again want to thank you for taking your time to be with us this morning.
My pleasure.
Sparky Lisa said you look like Roger from the Kinks.
Yeah,
Sparky.
I can see that.
Sparky.
Got that one from Lisa, from Sparky. Yeah, Sparky Lisa from Sparky.
And
So
somebody who's 6'2" sees him something totally different.
I was
Sorry,
this
Sparky,
year.
I had to say it.
Jeez. My goodness. But anyway, I just wanted to do a reset because we have a lot of people joining us, and not that people don't know who you are, but I just want to make sure everybody is here.
You
and
know
is
what?
aware.
They don't know the story. And
Right.
what we try to do on this show is tell people, you know, it's like when you go to a networking group and you
Mm-hmm.
can talk about your business. That's wonderful, but you get much better response if you talk about you, the person.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about. We've talked a little bit about the music.
Right on.
You're very open about some of the trials and tribulations of growing up.
Yeah.
Life gets in the way. I always say life gets in the way. And I finally did it this year and had the tattoo done that says one moment in time changes everything. What was that moment for you, Michael?
Well, there's been many, many moments, but I think for me, getting clean and sober, stopping with substance for me is what changed. It changed everything.
What the light came on. I mean, I coached college baseball back east for 15 years. And I used to get these young boys in at 16, 17 years old as freshmen. And by the time they left at 18, 19, 20 years old as seniors, the light switch turns on for individuals at different times. And I remember looking at a kid, and the kid came up to me a senior year. He said, "Coach, I didn't know that." And I looked at him, I said, "Stephen, did the light switch just turn on?" When did the light switch turn on?
Yeah. Well, I was using a lot of drugs, and I thought, it's that old story, the rock star drug problem, the whole thing, and I always considered myself that, and that was part of my story, and I had a good time with it.
Sure.
It was wild and crazy. When we went out with Great White in 2003 and we did that tour, we were in that Rhode Island fire. When I got home, that whole tour was a blur for one thing, but when I got home, I really went into my addiction, and looking back on it, I was avoiding feeling what had just happened,
Sure.
the trauma,
Sure.
and
Sure.
grieving that. It was just a heavy situation. And the drugs and alcohol were working for that, as far as not a solution. It was a solution to not feel anything.
You medicated.
And at some point in 2006, it stopped working.
Let me ask you a question that I use as a segue moment in, because I grew up very, very poor, living in the housing project, losing a mother at a very early age, traumatic experiences in our lives that my early childhood, I don't remember a thing. Now, I don't know where that block is. Is there any kind of block during that period of your life that you can't get back? You just don't remember.
Well, I get stories told to me all the time that I don't remember. Yeah. But I prided myself on being present and sharp, and like I was a guy who could handle the drugs and the alcohol. But now, I hear stories, but there's nothing in particular like that. And I've done a lot of self-examination. That's been a big part of it.
Well, both you and Jolie are very spiritual people.
Jolie especially.
Yeah. And she's brought you more into that world
Amazing.
of it, I'm sure.
Yep.
And it's made you a much better person. You're able to dig down deep inside and bring out feelings and emotions that were always there but weren't able to be brought to the surface.
Well, as men, we're so good at that, aren't we?
Well, I have the same situation with my wife. Dorothy and I have been together for 12 years. She's made me a better person.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's that one instance, but you don't always share the button that they just pressed and make them aware of a button that was there that had never been pressed before.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. And I know with you and Jolie that, as an outsider watching the two of you operate, lack of better terminology, using the word operate, it's a different person. It's a different person.
Like you, she makes me want to be a better man.
Exactly.
She's very inspiring. Yeah. And if we could all be so lucky.
Let me ask you the front question. Was there a particular reason or situation as to why you started with your addictions?
Because it was fun.
Sure.
But did somebody offer you? Did you say, "Hey, I want to try this on my"? I mean, I'm just curious as to how you even got started in that.
What do you think about that? So I grew up in the 70s.
Okay.
Everybody smoked grass.
Mhm.
It was just around everywhere. And of course drinking was everywhere. So it was very in my my mom was 18 years old and my dad was 20. You're talking about 1970. There were hippies from the Bay Area. It was normalized.
He still is.
He's still a hippie, yeah. So to me, it wasn't unusual, I mean, I went to concerts with him when I was 6 years old. Everybody was smoking pot. So when I got into junior high school, 6th grade and junior high school, I was, I smoked pot. It just seemed like there was no boundary around that. So it was the beginning for me.
Gotcha. It was the norm.
Yeah, totally the norm.
Okay.
And then drinking in high school, I mean, I couldn't talk to girls, but when I had a couple shots of Jack Daniels, man, I was charming and I was taller and smarter and wittier. So yeah, it's very seductive. And for me, being predisposed to possibly alcoholism or addiction, it just swooped me right up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was just curious, about the start of it. The reasons you stop are always emotionally based, whatever it was.
Spiritually bankrupt.
Spiritually. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you look into how did I get into it and how did I get out of it?
Right.
Are there any correlations between the two? Were there any trigger points between the two? I got into it because of, I got out of it because of.
Right.
And somewhere life is in the middle of that.
Right.
And the pressures that we all face, because
Yeah.
we all have issues.
That's right.
Nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors.
Mhm.
The image that you project out there really isn't the image until you really get to know somebody and understand who they are. And you know what? There's nothing better in this life, in my opinion, than friendship. True
Connection.
friendship,
Yeah,
a connection.
That's right.
And once you get a connection, you've got a big barrier that has been broken down. You can get in now.
One of our viewers in the chat room, which you can see here at the bottom, Justin, agrees with your comment about the support Jack Daniels has for people. So thank you,
Yeah.
Justin, for checking in.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. It's a great segue since we're talking about personal stuff.
Sure.
Should we turn on the spotlight?
Sure, go
A
ahead.
little early because I want to talk about
I
wanna talk about-
warned you about this
What's
earlier.
this?
this. I want to leave the rest for what his current projects are and things like that.
Sure.
So, okay, this is what we call the hot seat, but it's really a get to know you. It's a get to know you segment. All right, where basically
You know me.
they're quick fire questions. First thing that comes to mind is what I want answers on.
No
I've done
thinking
this with
about it.
therapists before.
Well, there you
This-
go.
This is
Not like this. but-
Not with these questions. That's for sure.
Dr. Aaron, Dr. Neil.
Dr.
exactly.
Lowe, Dr. Larry.
I need your
Okay.
certification.
You ready?
Yeah.
Favorite actor of all time.
Robert De Niro.
Favorite actress of all time.
Hmm.
Notice everybody gets stuck on that one.
I know.
Actor they get. Actress.
Yeah, well, so I have a huge crush on Charlize Theron.
Okay.
But I don't know if she's my favorite actor. I got to say Jodie Foster, probably.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good-
That's a good
she's
one,
You know
too.
what? I
powerful.
got to tell you, with Robert De Niro, I always tell people Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, and Al Pacino were really the same person.
You never see them in a room
When you-
at the
yeah,
same
right.
time.
When you see the movies, was that De Niro?
Exactly. Well, De Niro has that little thing on his
Yeah, I
cheek.
know,
I don't
yeah.
always stand him.
But
out.
he's not my favorite actor because of his ability. I don't think he's the best actor. I've always liked his characters. I
Yeah.
love his characters. I love the roles he chooses.
Okay.
It doesn't have show a lot of range in his acting.
Oh,
He
but-
seems like he's playing himself.
Yeah,
all
but
the
you do
time.
this. Morgan Freeman, he plays the same.
He plays
type
God.
person.
I mean,
yeah.
Same.
Right.
All right. Favorite all-time movie. Whenever it comes on, you're stopping what you're doing and you're watching it.
I have a lot of those, though. But if I had
Pick
to
one.
pick one,
One.
all right,
Life or death. One movie with popcorn and all that you can eat.
Yeah. 7 years from Tibet. 7 years in Tibet. Is that
It's
the
so
title?
popular, he doesn't even know the title for it.
Well, it's been a long time. That or more current. I mean, Pulp Fiction for me, I can watch
Okay.
a million times.
Okay.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, in your music and what you do now on stage, you obviously touch different genres of music.
Right.
Okay. But what is your favorite music genre?
For playing or listening, just
Two separate questions. One you like to perform with, and one that you, when your windows are rolled up in your car, no one's watching, you can pick two.
yeah. I enjoy playing blues.
Okay.
Blues is definitely the genre that I gravitate toward. Listening, man, it's hard. I love good music.
Mhm.
It could be no genre really pops out for me.
Okay.
I mean, I've got country
Across the
songs
board.
across the board. If it's good music that makes me feel.
Good answer.
Okay.
Great answer.
Good reaction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Now we'll throw the tough one
Uh-oh.
at
Yeah,
him.
here we go.
That one was hard.
Which, well, wait, there's more. What's your favorite all-time song? And since you like all the genres, this one may be the toughest for you to answer. But
There's I've had, of course, many of them over the years, but there's a song called "The Story" by Brandy Carlisle,
okay,
and she's a more modern artist, but it just paints a picture for me.
okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Listen to The Story if you don't know it.
Yeah.
Brandy Carlisle, "The Story."
Mark, I want to listen to that later.
If money were no object, what kind of car would you like to see parked in your driveway someday?
The '63 convertible Lincoln.
Wow, a Lincoln convertible.
Yeah,
I've never seen
the
one.
suicide
Wow.
door.
Oh, the suicide
Yeah.
doors. Those are cool.
What's
Yeah.
the suicide door?
That's the half doors that
They
open up
open
the other
from
way.
the middle. Yeah,
They open the other way.
Is it a big car? Because a Lincoln to a big
Yeah,
car. is
this
back
was 24 feet, maybe.
there. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was talk about the early gas guzzlers.
I don't know. I'm gonna put gas in it, but it's gonna look good parked in front of my house.
Driveway, right, exactly.
Good
All right.
answer.
You're allowed to answer this question because we are on the internet. We are not on regular stations where the
Okay.
FCC looks at
Yeah.
you.
Oh, they're looking all right.
I'm not sure they are. What's your favorite curse word? And even though Dad is sitting here in the room, I'm sure he'll
I
let
like
you.
fucking cocksucker.
Oh, we got a multiple choice question there.
Yeah.
Usually,
It's a combo.
fuck is number one.
I know.
I feel like a game show.
Wow.
Number one answer.
That's right. The survey says. All right, I got to start putting warnings on these shows.
Why do you ask that question?
It's just curiosity.
Oh.
Because that'll get the most response.
That's right. Well, I like to say this. So, okay, I'll stop this for a second. Katie Monroe chimes in with a question. Good music. Are you drawn in by lyrics or the actual music typically?
Good one.
Thank you, Katie.
I am drawn in by melody. Groove is something, you know, if it makes the rhythm, then my body move, but melody can stimulate me for a long time before I actually get the story.
Gotcha.
I don't gravitate towards the story right away, but which is weird to me because I write, but I think it's actually a handicap. For some reason, I'm so stimulated by the melody.
I've said this about a couple of performers that we've interviewed and a couple that I've known prior to us starting the show. And although I haven't seen you on stage yet, but just listening to you and your love of music and your love of melody and the words and all of that stuff, I get a feeling when you perform, when you do your song, you like to tell the story of the words of the song. Or if one person in a room of 10,000 watching you gets the message, you would walk off the stage very satisfied that one person got the message from the song that you presented.
Especially with the original music.
Okay.
You know, that was definitely a different level of importance to me.
Right on.
Doing the remakes and of course songs I didn't write. I did a class with Clint Holmes. You know, he does those workshops,
Sure.
and he taught us that, and I took away from it. I never thought about this, but even if you don't understand the story that the writer was trying to convey, create your own story,
your version of it.
Perform it. Be sure you visualize that story because people will feel that.
I got to share with you. I sat with Clint Wednesday night down at Kelly's at Tuscany.
On his lap?
No, he sat on mine. Okay. But
that's a topic for a whole nother show.
He reiterated what you just said, word for word.
Yeah, he's a good teacher.
You know, and one other thing that he brought up is he's got this mentor guy that I forgot his name, but he does a lot of Broadway stuff and he works with a lot of the actors. Very well known guy. And he was watching Clint one day and he observed him in a number of different venues. And Clint had a habit of taking his left fist and clenching it like this during the performance. And then he approached Clint and said, your left hand, release it and see what happens. And he opened his hand and all of the energy now that he had been closing or blocking came through him. And he sang and verbalized, expressionized, if there's such a word, totally different.
Wow.
He said, I never realized that. I never realized I was doing that. He would take his left fist when he would be singing and he'd close it. Little things like that.
What's interesting about that is that when I'm performing, my butt cheeks are so clenched that maybe I should let that go and see what happens.
Well, so the pearls that come out after the show.
There's a solution. You could do what my co-host does prior to the show. He visits the little boys' room.
Oh,
so if you do that, it'll unclench.
Right. I do. It's my ritual.
You know what? I'm sorry, that was just a bad left turn.
No, but it fits right in with us crazy people up here that you were so worried about. Right.
Crazy bastards.
Okay, best vacation ever taken.
I think my wedding. We went to the Big Island.
Okay.
And we
Staten Island. Is that where you went?
To Hawaii.
Oh, sorry.
And we stayed in Kona for a few days, and then we went over to the volcano side,
Right on.
kind of near Hilo, a place called Volcano is the name of the town. And it was just 12 of us, immediate family. And,
Right on.
And it was just magical. Yeah.
Heaven.
And it was when all the hurricanes were happening.
Oh,
the
great.
volcano was erupting. And we just
let's put on a show, they
stayed
said.
the course.
Right on. Good for you. Bucket list vacation. Where would you like to go that you haven't been?
I think I want to go to the moon, man.
Okay.
250,000 a pop, right? Is that the
Yeah.
Jordan Adler, who is Send Out Cards, the top guy in Send Out Cards, who lives here in town.
Yeah.
You know, among other places.
Is he going?
He's already put his deposit of 250,000 in.
Yeah, Richard Branson's taking reservations now. I think.
Is that a deposit or is that the ticket price?
That's a deposit, I think. Is it the
I don't know
price?
even what I'm asking. Either way, I can afford it. So
Either way, it's $250,000 just to have a seat on
Why the moon?
ship.
Why the moon?
Well, there's going to be. I like to do things that nobody has ever done, really, and I know that they've done that, but it's like you're one of, maybe it's-
regular person stuff, because those were astronauts.
Can you
That's right. they're
can you come
astronauts.
up with a different line than one step for man, one that whole thing? Or?
I'm not sure I want to step down on the moon. I just want to go to it, see it, and come back. Just a flyby, you know,
Just
Hey,
like
how
a
are ya?
drive-through.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know if I want to get out of the thing.
Describe for me your absolutely perfect favorite meal.
I love tacos, Mexican food.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
That's
Homemade?
what we do for
that
Christmas.
just totally shocked me because I know the way you and Jolie cook. You know, with
We-
fresh this and farm to table, and then they get tacos.
I am oppressed. I do not. I struggle with it. I want to eat pizza and tacos, and we try not to. And she's a great cook, and so yeah, we try to be healthy. But if
Well, then those urges when you want pizza, we got a place for you.
yeah,
Marsigliano's.
Very good pizza. Yeah,
Marsigliano's.
very
Sahara
good.
and Cimarron.
Okay.
We just did a remote show from there last week. Great
Oh,
stuff.
nice.
Plug.
Plug.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Like product placement. Favorite Las Vegas themed thing that you like to do to relax?
Las Vegas theme.
Yeah, something that you would do with your family that is typical Las Vegas activity.
Well, I don't know, would you count Mount Charleston or
Yeah,
Lake
yeah,
sure you can.
Absolutely.
So I love to get up there and ski, and I also like to do those cabins up there at Mount Charleston.
Yeah.
A nice getaway.
Absolutely.
Fun
Okay.
plug, yeah.
Favorite suggestion that you give to people coming to visit Las Vegas of a typical Las Vegas activity to do?
You go to a show. I mean, there's some great
Anyone in
shows here.
particular?
You know, I do recommend the Bronx Wanderer.
I was
was throwing
waiting
the
for Brett,
pitch.
right? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was
do.
throwing one down home plate.
Yeah.
We set it up. And
We
he
set it up
went
for
the
you,
other
and you
way.
swung and missed, man.
Well, I love those guys, but I also love the show, and I also,
Well, we love
I'm
you
a big
too.
fan of Love. Love
Strike
is a-
two.
is a-
That's strike two now.
Yeah.
He still hasn't caught on.
No, Reckless in Vegas. Is
Reckless
the
in
call.
Vegas.
Listen, you guys, check it out.
Where did this guy come
So-
from? That's what I want to know.
It's hard to be. I don't want to be self-promoting, but if we had a regular show, I would definitely
Yeah, I
recommend
agree.
our show.
Of course.
because I'm so proud of it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll let you
Strike
off.
three.
Strike. All right. You
two.
singled with that retort. How's
We're,
that?
we're talking to two baseball guys.
That's
Be very
right.
careful here.
I don't follow hockey or basketball. I know what you're
Hockey.
talking
We're
about.
back to that joke. Hockey. All right.
Who's your wish list performer that you'd like to perform with someday?
You know what? I'd like to perform with Bruce Springsteen.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for Santana.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
really.
here's the thing. So, of course, Santana, but I don't. You know, you gave me amazing compliments in my guitar ability, and I consider myself a one-trick pony
No,
on the
I
guitar.
don't
I
agree-
do it very well. The one thing I do
don't
well.
agree with you.
Okay, and I would love to do Santana, but for me to connect with Bruce, have you seen the Broadway? His on Netflix, he's got the Bruce on Broadway,
Oh, that's the one man
little
thing.
bit.
He sits on the stage and he
Yeah.
talks. Yeah, we saw a little bit of it then. Yeah.
and he has a book. He's got a couple of books, but the last book is Born to Run. I connect with him, and I wish I could go back. I want to connect with him and talk about how because we met when I
Sure.
was a kid, and
Sure.
how this whole thing has come full circle, and then to play.
Play him.
Although now with Neil saying I was a terrible Bruce, I'm like, oh my god, that was mean, man.
Listen, I'm sorry. I'm a truthful guy. But that being said, you've already got the relationship. I mean, you started the relationship with Bruce. You've got somewhat connections.
Yeah.
Reach out to him. Why not? Do it.
Well, so on my to-do list is writing a letter to him, which I was told I can get to him.
Okay.
And if he reads it and likes what's maybe he'll,
I was gonna say, do you think he'd remember that encounter with you when you were 16?
I got a
I
suggestion.
think I'd have to probably dot some
Connect it?
Yeah, connect it for him.
I got a suggestion. I'll take that Springsteen picture I have up there, make it 8x10, send it along with the letter. Vanity, 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 baby. You know what? Maybe the thing to get it over the top. Deal?
Maybe
Doesn't cost you
make
anything.
it
Just say
a deal,
yes.
Neil over here.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting idea.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? Send a
Yeah.
visual.
Yeah, I like it.
One
Smart guy here.
last question.
Yeah.
If you were not doing what you're doing today, what career would you think you'd be doing or would have liked to have done?
You're gonna laugh at this, but I think probably I would have been a good football player.
And he doesn't even. He loves college.
I'm sorry.
It's-
No, no,
what
no.
position? What position?
I was a fullback.
Okay.
And I wasn't quite fast enough to be a good halfback, but I really loved running the football, and I enjoyed.
Did you like
blocking.
hitting people, or
I did,
'cause
yeah.
that's what a fullback does. you
Well,
know?
no, but see, I was an unusual fullback. They ran me all the time because I just could take guys down. They couldn't tackle me. And we used to play that game. There's a couple different names for it. I want to be correct here when I say it, but when you throw the ball up and they
Kill the man with the ball.
Kill the Man with the Ball, but there's
Yeah.
another. Okay, so we used to call it
I
something else.
know the other
Okay.
one.
So, but the coaches saw us playing that before practice, and so they moved me from right guard to fullback, and man, that was it. So,
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. You're off the hot seat. The spotlight is off.
High school football? Was it high school football?
well, I got into high school.
Yeah,
So
what
this is Pop Warner stuff, right?
Okay, sure.
When I got into high school, these guys, there was no weight restrictions, and they hit way too hard for me.
Yeah.
They just hit. I cried. I was a crier.
You know what really hurts is my freshman year, because I played football too. My freshman year, I played 150-pound football. Right, I was 153 pounds, and they let me play, and they called me the chunky little right-hander.
Huh.
I was the same height. I'm 205 now. What would they call me now?
Too old to play football.
Yeah, really.
With your knees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
knees, forget it.
All right, let's move forward. Let's bring it fast forward. You're working on some projects. You got music coming out on just what's happening currently with you.
We're entertaining some residency situations, and we're doing it very cautiously
Mhm.
and I'm trying to be patient. My artist wants to sign the first deal and jump into it, and I got to connect my heart to my mind.
Sure,
and
sure.
It's tough. It's tough climate in Las Vegas. It
Mhm.
really is a challenging business. And then I'm working on some original stuff again, because my inner artist is not being fed because I'm doing remakes.
Right.
I want to be working on that.
Well, you mentioned inner artist. I mean, I've been to the house. You're also a painter. Well, you are.
Neil came over and gave me a lesson on how to do hands.
And you know what he said to me? Stop showing off.
And
He said to me, stop showing off.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I wouldn't call myself a painter, but I definitely love to. It's expressive.
It's relaxation
It's
for
relaxation.
I'm
It's
surprised your
meditative.
Sharpie's not out now.
you. Yeah,
for
but let
him.
me
Teaching me more. And
let me put it this way. When people say, what do you do? I don't always say I'm an artist. When people meet a musician or a singer or a performer, I don't look at them as a guitar player or as a singer. I look at them as a creative. This is our genre. This is how we do our creations. So, when I mentioned the artistic end of it, it's another creative tool that you have the ability to do. You haven't yet learned the technique to take it to the next level.
no technique.
And I'm still going to do it. I've talked to you about taking one of your canvases and using my Lucy camera and projecting an image, and then now that everything's laid out for you, sit down with you for the initial, $3.2 million consultation, and
3.2 million.
well, I don't know, and teaching you the next step, because you have the ability. You don't understand the technique. Once you understand a technique, you enhance that technique with repetition. Do it again. Do it again. Pretty soon you're very comfortable, just like your music playing and your singing. You don't have to think about that. That comes as a natural ability, which you're born with, and you enhance it by doing it and doing it and doing it.
If I could get where you are in about 2 weeks, I'm all in. But because it's a lifetime commitment to get that,
Well,
I want to be really good at everything that I do, and it's a challenge. And I'll have a phase where I will go in my studio and I'll break out the canvases and the paints and I'll just go.
Yep.
But then it goes away for months at a time.
Well, listen,
focus back on the
we
music.
always try to improve every day. You've heard the term, and your dad even brought it up earlier. You learn something new every day, correct? So if you get to a point where you've learned something new in that genre of painting, you're going to every day. You're going to, not necessarily every day, because you can put it away, you come back, you're in a different frame of mind, you look at it differently. Just like when you write music and you play music. This will encourage you, in my opinion, to want to go back to the canvas to work on it.
Yeah, because as you get better, you get more inspired. And
that's all. Listen, you're not going to be able to do what I do in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years,
Do you know how
20
long
years.
I've been painting?
A lifetime, probably.
Well, I started painting in 99.
Okay, so not that
And-
long.
It's 20 years.
Well, that's 20 years.
Well,
You'd
that's
think
not
that
that
if I
long.
was good at it, I would be good at it by now.
Listen, if your goal is not to be good at it, your goal is for that to bring a joy to yourself.
Yeah.
Where it brings you into a different place in your mind spiritually to create. You know what? As crazy as it sounds, the painting will enhance your writing and your singing
Of course.
and your playing,
Yeah.
because you're picking up different
It's
things. from it.
expressive,
Yeah,
right?
it's expressive.
Right. The trick for me, though, is to do it to enjoy it, not because I'm not trying to be good at it. And my inner critic in my situation with that is, once I get the bug again, I start painting, then I start judging it, and then I want to do it better, and I have trouble with it. Then I feel like shit.
Get away
and
from
don't
it.
want to do it anymore.
A doctor's worst patient is themselves.
There
Can
you
I
go.
tell you the Billy Joel piece that I just finished, which I think is one of the
Amazing piece.
one of the
Yeah.
thank you, one of the
That's
best
one of the-
pieces I've done.
Go.
But Dorothy will tell you the story. The first one I worked on, I penciled it up and I started marking it, and she said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I don't like it." Well, get away from it. She always says, "Get away from it," right? And I started working on it. I ripped it up. She said, "What are you doing? You know it's worth more as an artist if you don't finish it. Throw it in the drawer." The next week, I came back. I was here 6:30 in the morning. I had the urge. Nobody's here. It's dark out. I'm in, and I started to pencil it up, and I started work on it a different way, and it popped.
Oh.
And I got the juices. So when you say, I'm not happy with the painting, I'm not, it'll come. Somebody, you talked earlier about patience. I used to have a cartoon behind my drawing board back east, and the cartoon was a vulture on a limb overlooking the valley. And the caption read, "Patience my ass, I'm going to kill somebody."
Mm.
We have to get over that. And sometimes the frame of mind that we're in at that moment, we can't get over it. You got to walk away, come back at a different time. When you go on vacation, you busted your ass, you're working. I got to get away. I need a vacation. And you come back in your vacation, all the energy is there
You're
again.
re-inspired, yeah.
You're re-inspired.
Yeah, recharge.
That's what you need to do with the painting, in my opinion.
Huh. Well, I'm not a patient person.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. In fact, I'm impatient with this conversation.
Well, want to go back to the Melvin Harvey hairdo? I mean, we can go there.
Melvin, who doesn't love a good Melvin Harvey hairdo? Huh?
That's right. I'm going to go for that look.
Well, the good news is though is that we're just about out of time. So
I was kidding.
Your
Your
impatience is perfect timing. Go ahead.
Are there more questions here?
Are there? I don't have any in the chat room.
Yeah.
Question is, what else are you thinking for future?
I'm trying to get focused on on health, my own physical health, and championing that whole thing, because I turned 49 last month.
It's a baby.
Well, baby, but so I've always preached this to everyone. When a person turns 50 years old, they really should be in the best shape of their life. Then they got a good chance. And I know that's just an aspiration. Well, I'm going to be 50 in less than a year. Well, I better get on the gas if I'm going to, practice what I preach.
Well, with what I've gone through the last 2 years,
Yeah.
I'd love to work with you and support you in any direction you want to go.
Thank you.
Do you know his story?
Yeah, he told me a little
Yeah,
bit about it. It's
it's
amazing.
unbelievable.
I'll show you a picture when we get
Yeah.
off the air.
So 350 to
354 to about 216 right now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And got rid of diabetes, got rid of high blood pressure, stage 2, non-alcoholic fatty
Incredible.
liver disease.
Wow.
Everything is gone. Sleep apnea, perfect.
Changing your lifestyle.
That's right.
My whole wardrobe is Old Navy now.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd say that in my life.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, seriously, when
inspiring.
you're ready, I'd love to work with you on that and just, whatever you need to support you. So
Cool. Yeah.
All right, we're ready to wrap up, Neil.
Wrap
Do you
it
have any
up.
more questions from our studio audience? Wow.
Nope, they're quiet out there.
They're-
Just watching.
What an enthusiastic audience we have here today, Neil.
Well, my family knows me.
What's that?
Yeah. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Reckless
Who's
Investment.
a young girl, because I didn't meet her.
That's my niece.
Hi, niece.
That's Kaylin. That's my sister's daughter.
It's Caleb.
September
Kayla.
17th.
Kaylee.
Caitlin.
Wow.
Caitlin.
80. Amazing. Yeah.
All right, let me just replay.
Kaylin.
Let me just replay that
Kaylin.
for the hearing impaired.
Caitlin. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there's a commercial on it, I don't know which one, but they play one of your songs that you play in your show. And,
No,
and,
it's cute though. No.
and every time I hear it, I think of you. in
Yeah.
retrospect.
So Dorothy is referring to a Verizon commercial that's out right now that has a version of My Way.
Oh,
And,
yes.
Yeah, and that was written and recorded by for the commercial. It's not our version. It's got some similar qualities to it.
But
Yeah,
because
yeah.
We love the show, and we go to the show. The show is instilled.
Did you guys go buy new phones after you heard the commercial?
He said, "Oh, Rex and Vegas."
Yeah.
When I heard it last
Yeah.
night when we were at the Tom Jones show,
Mhm.
he sang "What's New."
Pussycat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The first thing I
Yeah.
did is I turned around and I said, "Rex and Vegas."
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
So the
We
brand
did.
is working.
The brand is working.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anybody here in the audience that you'd like to bring up the camera to introduce to the world? Anybody not camera shy over there before we say goodbye? Notice I'm not looking that way. I'm hoping that you.
Hey, Kaylin, come here for a second. Come here.
No, come on. You got to do
Come
it. Come on. No, it
Come
takes
on.
2 seconds.
Come here. Just come here.
Don't worry, no one's watching.
Come here.
Come on.
Just come here for a sec. Come on. Come on.
I could always hook up a microphone and take it to you.
Yeah, you want to do that? Just come here and wait and just wait.
Come on. Just 2 seconds. Wave
Why don't you have your
on
dad bring her
camera.
up? Have your dad bring her up.
She's coming. She's coming.
Okay,
This
come on
is- this
around.
is my beautiful.
Just be
beautiful
careful of the
niece.
cords as you come around.
Just say hi to everybody.
Hi.
You want to wish? What is today? Saturday? Got any weekend wishes for anybody?
No.
Not nothing.
No.
Look at that. Look at that.
die and go to hell.
I don't know.
Okay. So
Well
the thing, I
said.
don't know, but this is my niece.
How old are you?
16.
At 17, the camera will become not a visual obstruction. I
Yeah.
mean, just talk like you're not even there.
She
Just got a
loves the
microphone.
camera. Wait a minute. You do camera stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. She prepares though.
Well, no
Okay.
preparation here.
Not
involved.
on live. Not on live.
No, yeah, live. You just got to
Now,
go for it.
are you from Vegas? You live here in Vegas, or now where do you go to school in Vegas?
Palo Verde.
Oh, that's up in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, I do the. I'm a Rotarian, and we have Kitterack and all that stuff at the school. So we go into the schools, and the English teacher, I can't remember his name. He's also a Rotarian little guy. You probably know who he is.
Rotarian is Rotary Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rotarian.
Yeah, I'm a Rotarian.
It's not a religious sect.
No, it's all about. Listen, you know me. I'm all about the kids, and
Yeah,
Rotary
absolutely.
is all about the kids.
Absolutely. I was a Kiwanian for many years. We did the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Who's the English teacher you're talking about?
I wish I remembered his name. He's short.
Oh,
well,
no,
I hope he's not listening right now. I mean,
No,
What's your English teacher's name?
Mr. Powell.
no, it's not him.
We've eliminated that very.
we-
quickly.
all
One
right.
down, 5,000 to go.
I think we need to let Kayla
Love
off
you.
the hook.
Okay.
Thank you for coming up. Appreciate it.
Kayla.
All right. Hope everybody's enjoyed today's show. I know we have, and I know our audience has. Michael, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun
Pleasure.
meeting you in person,
Definitely.
and I look forward to seeing you on stage real soon.
I hope you come out.
Thank you to everybody for attending. Let's give Michael a round of applause, please. Mr. Neal, you stay right there. Mr. Neal, how about to take us home comment, and then we'll wrap up.
Listen, we've got our anniversary show coming up in November. The options out there for advertising, sponsoring, being part from all our past guests, new guests. We're going to have a lot of the celebrities. We have the step and repeat here in the gallery. It's going to be catered. There's
Maybe
gonna
we
be
need
an
to get a
event.
step and repeat for that, since we're doing it for our show.
Yeah, well, we can
Or
look
put that
into-
in a place to get pictures done.
Yeah, they can take a picture with us. But this is going to be a big event here at the gallery. Stay tuned to watch for all the postings. Here come the shades for Michael now that it's past 1 o'clock.
Hey, now.
You know what? You know what you look like right now? No, you know what you look like right now?
George Costanza from.
No, I wasn't even going there.
I was in the pool.
You know the rooster that Dorothy and I got for you in the back? There was a similarity that I just saw in that image.
Okay, on that wonderful note, he is.
Neil Portnoy's mean.
Well, they know that. That's why.
I don't think you're getting a dissenting vote about that in the chat
Your
room.
wife
Oh.
is shaking her head. Yes.
Oh, she's going, yes.
On that note, we want to wish everybody who is celebrating the Yom Kippur holiday next week an easy fast. Hopefully you all will be cemented in the book of life for another year. We'll be back here next Saturday, 12 o'clock noon as always, with another edition of Twin Brothers from Different Mothers. That's Neil Portnoy. That's Michael Shapiro. I'm Aaron Phillips. Have a great week, everybody. From all of
See
us
you
here,
guys.
at Portnoy Gallery.
Later.
Woo!